Okay, a 7. So well done on all your work so far. It's been fantastic. Okay, and today now we're going to start a new topic called coordinates. Okay, we're going to focus on what we call here the positive quadrant. Okay, or the first quadrant. Right? Quite simply, coordinates, okay, are essentially a set of numbers that help us to describe the location of a point, okay, or a position. So for example, I've got this point here, okay, we can use coordinates to describe, to explain where that point actually is, okay, and any other point on the coordinate grid as well, all right? And we easily do that by coming up with a pair of numbers, okay? But there's a rule you have to follow when it comes to coordinates, okay? We always have to go across first, and then we go up, okay? In this case, we're going to go across from here, 6, and then we're going to go up to the same number, 6, when you read the axes there, okay? So, important thing is you always start here, what we call the origin, okay? Origin just means beginnings, doesn't it? At the beginning point. So this is where we start, all right? And we've got to think, right, okay, where is that point in relation to my starting point? Or, in other words, how could I get to that point? Okay, how could I get there if we went on a journey? So what we do, we go across first, and we have to go all the way across to 6, and then we go up. In this case, we've got to go up to that number there, which is also 6. So the number that we go across, we write down first, okay, which happened to be 6. I'll write it here, okay, next to the point. And then we put a comma, and then we write the next number, okay, the number that we had to go up next to it. So that was also 6. And we put a bracket around it to represent that coordinate. Okay, so they both happen to be 6 in that instance. If I pick another point, say for instance this point here, let's think about what that coordinate would be. Well, again, remember now we start at the origin, okay, and I've got to go across first, haven't I, to get to that point. So I go across first, I've got to go across to 6. So my first number is going to be 6, across to 6, and then I've got to go up 3, yeah? So I put comma and I put 3 there. So that will be the coordinate to describe that location, okay? So the first number tells you how many you go across, second number that tells you how many you go up. Let's just do a couple of examples from this sheet here. So for instance, writing down the coordinate of A, there's A there, okay? Well, to get to A, if you think about it, remember we start here at the origin. Now I only need to go across 1. I don't need to go across anymore because I've gone too far. So I go across 1, and then I've got to go all the way up to then 8. So the coordinate will be 1, 8. Is that okay? I won't do them all, but I'll do B as well, right? So for B, start at the origin. I've got to go across to 5, okay? And then I've got to go all the way up to 8. So across from the origin, across 5 first, up to 8. Should we do C as well? So there's C. So for C, start at the origin, I've got to go all the way across to 8. So I'll write 8 there. And I'll go all the way up to 7. You just look across to see how many I've gone up. Okay, so you could fill them in like that. And then underneath it says then mark these points and their letters. So with this one, you have P at 8, 9, right? So let's do P then. So it's 8, 9. So that tells me, remember the first number tells me how many you go across. So if I start here, I've got to go all the way across to 8. And then it says then I've got to go up 9. So I go all the way up to 9, which is right at the very top. And I put a little dot there, and I can put P then. Okay? Could do the same for the other letters. Now to finish off, let's go back to this here. Suppose I was asked to create a rectangle, okay? And to write down the coordinates of the vertices. Well, this could be one side of my rectangle, couldn't it? All right, and then I could make the rectangle as large or small as I'd like. So I could make it to be a rectangle like that. So I could put 2 other points there, and I've got my rectangle then. Okay, so to create a rectangle there, and I could be asked to describe the vertices. So these are the 2 vertices here. But what about these 2 vertices? Well, to get that vertice, I need to go across 4 and then up 3. So that'll be 4, 3. And to get that vertice, I need to go across 4 and all the way up to 6. So that'll be 4, 6. So the vertices for each of these rectangle, the 4 vertices for this rectangle are 4, 3, 6, 3, 6, 6 and 4, 6.